The gridirons around Michiana. This is 16 Sports Extra.
Welcome into the 16 Sports Extra podcast. I'm Jax Neill. That's Sabrina Hoover. We're talking more high school football because, Sabrina, we're getting close to the end of the regular season.
I know. I remember talking about that earlier with you and being like, feels like the season has been super short, but also super long at the same time. I don't know how to explain it.
It does. From when I think back to like week one for Indiana, and back in August, I'm like, that feels like forever ago. But also, it doesn't feel like, I don't know. It's crazy to me that we're like almost at sectionals right now. That's gonna be coming up later this month. We still have like 2-3 weeks left for the regular. 2 weeks left for the regular season.
Yep.
So we're not done quite yet, but we're getting there.
We're getting there, and I feel like at this point we know enough about some teams, and I think one team in particular that is undefeated right now is Penn, and I think we've seen some good from Penn recently. They faced Elkhart on Friday. Penn led by a point up to that point. Ewald right there went in for the touchdown to take the lead. But Penn, their defense is just spectacular. Talking about like Micah Jarrell and Elkhart, I think he got sacked like. Honestly, I stopped counting because
you were saying he had like no time to throw.
No time to throw. Like, yeah, he tried to make throws downfield, just couldn't happen with this Notre Dame with this Penn defense. And so
we just got done talking about Marcus Freeman's press conference. So forgive us if we do the little
talking about Notre Dame defense. No, so just thinking back to like the first week of Penn, seeing what they've done successfully, it just seems like this team is on the right track and still remaining undefeated to this point. It's just crazy. It's crazy right now.
No, it really is. I mean, this is a team that so far this season, 293 total points in 7 wins, 7-0 right now.
Yeah.
They just look incredible. And this is a really big game, obviously. These are two of the bigger schools in the NIC, 2 schools that we think they could really compete for this conference title. Penn came into this game 4-0 in the conference. Elkhart was 3-1. So it's kind of like if Elkhart gets this win, they all of a sudden kind of jump ahead of Penn in terms of the conference standings. We remember last year, the 7-6 game. How can we forget that?
Our highlights were
our highlights. Weren't you at that entire game and I had like 30 seconds of highlights? Yeah. So that's what we've kind of been used to in the past year or so with these 2 programs. Now with the Tayshaun Bardo factor being on Elkhart, there were so many storylines, and then to see Penn come out and win 37-12.
Yeah.
You mentioned it was kind of closer in the first half, and then in the second half, Penn just pours it on and they run away with this win. It just kind of shows that they are head and shoulders, that there was a clear top tier in the NIC. And I think that's something we're going to talk about for the rest of the conferences, and something that we've kind of talked about throughout the season is that the good teams in Michiana this year are very good, especially compared to to the rest of the area. Because the other team that's undefeated right now, first time since 1995, their undefeated season is South Bend St. Joe. They're 7-0 and 5-0 in conference.
Another good defensive team, by the way. So that's going to be. I know we're still 2 weeks out from this game, Penn St. Joe. I think it's the last game of the regular season. I know we've talked about that before, but that one might be very low scoring.
So as of right now, South Bend St. Joe has only allowed 39 total points across all of their games this season. Penn has only allowed 74 total points, 39 in their conference wins. I mean, when it comes right down to it, this St. Joe defense, their offense, at times with Biffle can run the football. They can sometimes throw it, especially Grew, the tight end, who's come back from, those injuries. Great story by him. They could definitely hit the big play at certain points, but it's this defense. I mean, you're seeing it right there. You can't get anything done against this St. Joe defense. I don't care who it is. They're shutting you out, and that's how you win football games. I mean, even they just do everything right. They have really strong defense. Ryder plays as a kicker. He's a good kicker. I mean, in high school, he's a guy that you can actually line up and be like, go try to make this 30-yarder, and you feel pretty good about it. So they're just a really solid football team. They run the football well, they play good defense, and they have good special teams.
Yeah, and I think it's, again, Penn has an explosive offense too, with Landon Hall, but I feel like that's going to be the biggest challenge is how are they going to perform against, a South Bend St. Joe team that doesn't let you make any mistakes. So,
it really doesn't.
Lets you pay for it. So.
And so right now, it's between them. It's between those two teams for the conference championship. And you're right. This is coming out to be the best way possible. The last game of the regular season for both these teams is on Friday, October 17th. Penn at South Bend St. Joe. This upcoming Friday, Penn hosts New Prairie. Now, New Prairie has, 1-2 straight, but they're still 2-5 this season. We expect Penn to win that game. South Bend St. Joe, they're going at Schoolfield to play against Washington. Washington, we'll get to them in a second. They played against Adams. They have, Jaden Lineberry, as I've been saying, one of the most dynamic players in the area. But still, they're 2-5. You got to expect St. Joe's probably going into that game expecting a win. So it is very, very possible that two teams that are 8-0 overall and 6-0 in conference are going to be meeting on Friday, October 17th to decide the conference title.
Which is crazy because we're already to that point where I'm like, that's insane.
It really is. Some of the other matchups we mentioned, New Prairie, they were able to beat Marion 34-30. Just so impressed by New Prairie this season. With a new coach, it's always tough. They had a really tough start to the season. I mean, LaPorte, Northwood, South Bend St. Joe, South Bend Adams comes out and has they're really improved. Elkhart, it was a gauntlet to start this season. Since then, they've had to put up points. I mean, 45-42 they beat Riley, 34-30 they beat Marion. But these are back and forth games. I was at that Riley game last week, 2 weeks ago now, and it was, Riley was leading and they come back. Reed Robinson leading this New Prairie offense is just, he does it all.
Yeah.
He is the heart and soul of that football team. And there's just so much respect for him and that team because after those first 5 games, I think a lot of teams would quit and wouldn't really care. Yep. And yet I'm getting highlights of Reed Robinson lowering his shoulder on defenders to go in to the end zone. I think there's even though it's a new coach and maybe it's a transition year, there's just a real program at New Prairie.
And I love that you say that, the new coach part, because yes, even though, starting the season the way they did wasn't the best, but now, if you can end the regular season on a high note, that kind of brings more, confidence going into another new season for him. So,
and just, 2 one-score games, back to back, come from behind wins. Teams that are 0-5 don't do that.
Kind of teams
that are 0-5 when they get down like that, they're like, we're not putting ourselves in the line. This team is.
Yeah.
And the way that the playoffs work. Remember, this is Indiana. Everybody makes it. They're going to be in the sectionals.
Yep.
So they started 0-5. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If they're finishing like this.
It kind of reminds me of Northridge.
Yes.
Another team that just found their first win of the season, and we were like, really? It just how many close matchups that they had. They're very aggressive. So to see that they got their first win of the season, it was like this was a long time coming.
Exactly. We'll get to that in a second. Let's just wrap up the NIC. South Bend Adams beat South Bend Washington 28-7. Look, all I'm going to say is coming into the year, I said there was something different about this Adams team. I said something felt kind of different about them. It feels like, Frank has him just in the right spot. There's a buy-in among the program. Right now, 2-3, tied for 4th in the conference, 3-4 overall. They are beating Washington by multiple scores. That win over New Prairie, a crazy 35-34 score. I'm telling you, this week they're going at Riley. So they're going to be over at Jackson Intermediate. And I think that's a very winnable game for Adams. They could be going into the last game of the regular season with a chance to finish above 500.
And you literally said that to me. You were like, something about this team just feels different. And you've been talking to, Frank, it was like, we continue to get better each week and we can continue to grow. I think that's the biggest thing too with a program like that. It's like, you find ways to win and then you build on that. And I think that just helps the confidence level, no matter what. And to see what he's kind of built there is kind of special. So
no, and I think it's such a buy-in for the whole season perspective, because if you look through their schedule, they beat Culver Academies 35-7 that first week. They're coming out firing. Then they play Logansport, a good 4A team. They lose big. They play Marion. They get shut out on the road. But what they respond with, they go at New Prairie and win that crazy 35-34 game. Okay, there's some buy-in.
Yeah.
The next 2 weeks, South Bend, St. Joe, and Penn. And look,
those are hard.
I mean, those are the 2 undefeated teams. Those are the 2 teams we're talking about are going to make real runs in their sectionals that are the 2 best teams in the conference by far. And in those 2 losses, you get outscored 84-7. And look, those are just 2 programs that are just at another level from everyone else in the conference 100%. This season, not just Adams. But that's a spot where maybe you kind of quit. Well, no, you have your 2 South Bend rivals coming up next. You beat the first one 28-7. Again, I think they're going to have a real shot against Riley. So very, very impressed with what I'm seeing from Adams right now. But now let's go over to the Northern Lakes Conference where you mentioned it. Northridge, 42-7 over Wawasee. The best 1-6 football team I've ever seen.
Ever. Like, the fact that we are talking about them getting their first one of the season in what, week 7? Are we in week 7? Week 8, going into week 8? I'm like, there's no way. Because, like, Chad Epley and that team, they're aggressive. You know, they're feisty. They're hungry. And it seems like even in that Mishawaka game, it was just so, they took them down to the wire. And it's like, or, they had them, I think it was like the first half, it was close. So it was like, they've been in all of these games, and it's just crazy to know that finally they get, over the hump, which is good for this program.
I just want to pull this up. This is Northridge's schedule this season. This is thank you, johnharrell.net.
Yeah, thank you.
This is crazy. This is like, look, I know a lot of people talk about Notre Dame football right now in terms of like, the college game, like quality losses and everything. I mean, look at this. Fort Wayne North lost by 14. Elkhart, a 6A school, only lost by 10. Plymouth, another good team, only lost by 3. Going against Concord, lost by 7. At Northwood, lost in overtime. Mishawaka played them to 15 points. Like, we've been talking about it all season, but I'm so glad to see Northridge get that win.
Yes.
Get that first win of the season because if you look at their total points, actually in conference right now, they're 1-4 with a +9 point differential.
That's crazy.
1-4 +9. That doesn't happen.
No,
that doesn't. They're 1-6 overall this season, and they only have a -15 point differential. Usually 1-6 teams.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, Goshen is 2-5 in front of them in the stand. Right in front of them with one more win this season. They've scored 99 points this season and given up 248. Yeah. I'm trying to do some mental math on the spot. Was that 149? -149? That's what a 2-5 team is. They're -15 and they're
they're in every single game. And I think that's what we said too, was like, this is only going to make them better going towards the end of the season, because again, they're a scary, 1-6 or whatever. Yeah.
I don't want to play them in the postseason. I don't want to play them.
Exactly. So,
and this week they're going to be getting Goshen, a team where I think we just mentioned, they're also only 1-4 Northern Lakes.
Yep.
I think that's a winnable football game for them. Yep. And at the end they go at Warsaw. And look, I know Warsaw is up in the standings or whatever, but like I said, like, Northridge is live. Like, they're like, even though they're 1-4 right now, I would not be surprised to see them end this season with 3 straight wins.
I agree.
So
100% agree.
Let's, from there, speaking of Warsaw, let's go to their game against Mishawaka. Mishawaka came into this one undefeated in the conference, the only team left undefeated in the conference, and they were hosting Warsaw. Warsaw was 3-1. This is kind of similar to the Penn Elkhart situation, where Mishawaka was 4-0, like Penn was 4-0, Elkhart was 3-1, Warsaw was 3-1. If Warsaw pulls off the win, they kind of make the thing all jumbled. Instead, Mishawaka 42-21. Yep. You can't stop this. That you saw that earlier, Landon Snyder just jumping over someone, even though it was called back. Incredible.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's just a very, very impressive win for Mishawaka. And now when you're looking at it, Mishawaka goes at Plymouth this week, and then they're going to be hosting Wawasee, a team that has yet to win in the conference, so they're probably expected to win that game. Mishawaka is. Looks like Mishawaka has a real chance to go undefeated and win the NLC.
And I think, like, going into this season, when we're talking about Warsaw real quick, like, knowing the season that they had last year, there were, some high hopes for this team, and they're still a great program. It's just, they lost to Concord. They lost to Mishawaka. So it's like, you build up some of these losses and it's like, okay, is this the same Warsaw team that we saw last year? And obviously, they've missed some, key parts. But, talking about Mishawaka, I mean, they are just dominant in all phases. And I think it starts with the quarterback, obviously, Landon Snyder, Caden O'Neill, their running back. So, again, another, scary team going now into the postseason, especially knowing, who they have going forward.
Last year we saw Concord run through the NLC with all those close wins, especially against like the Mishawakas and stuff. This year it's like Mishawaka. They beat Concord in conference by 4 points. They beat Northwood by 1. Now they're getting a win over Warsaw. It was kind of close early before they pull away. It just really feels like this is Mishawaka's year. And I think it was something we thought coming into the season that they had a real chance to. I mean, have a real chance to go to Indianapolis.
Yeah,
that's the type of team they are. And the one loss they have in the season, on the road at Penn, 28-22.
Which was a great game.
Exactly. And in the moment we knew that was a good loss, it's only been further proven, I think.
Yeah, 100%. And again, it's like, I feel like getting that loss, and again, I hate to compare this to Notre Dame, but getting that loss in the beginning of the season is only going to help this team grow because, getting a close loss like that to Penn, you're going to be like, okay, how are we going to fix these mistakes moving forward? And then
one of the other big scores of Concord beats Goshen 42-0. Concord, right now they're 4-1, so they're a game behind Mishawaka, but again, Mishawaka probably expected to win their last 2 games. Concord right now they're playing Wawasee, which they're probably expected to win, and then at the last week of the season they're playing Plymouth at Lucas Oil, a really cool matchup. Yeah. But again, they need some help right there from some other teams. They need Mishawaka to if they want to win the conference title outright at this point, they need to win out, and Mishawaka needs to lose out.
Yeah.
Because since Mishawaka has the head-to-head. But Concord's still 6-1 on the season, that only lost of the year to Mishawaka. Again, they're going to be very, very dangerous when it comes to playoff time. And the last score we got to get to in the NLC, Northwood beating Plymouth 41-14. Northwood just... we talked kind of a little bit about New Prairie just like battling back. That's the strength of the program. Northwood, don't forget, Northwood did not start this season off great. They lost to Columbia City. They beat New Prairie. They beat Wawasee, but then they lose to Mishawaka. They're kind of 2-2. And you're like, where are they going? They're playing in overtime against Northridge. They win that one. They lose to Concord. It's just kind of been back and forth. They haven't lost 2 straight. They've only won 2 straight once. But now as the season's kind of wrapping up, they beat Plymouth big. They have Warsaw this week. They have the Goshen to end. There's a chance that Northwood can kind of rip off a little run here to end the season.
Yeah, that was another team we were like, we don't really know the identity of this team, but I think that's a big win for them, especially getting the win that they did, a dominant one, because again, just like you said, they've had some close ones. They've had some, really down to the wire games where I feel like, you get confidence when you win those, but then you're like, can we, kind of find some more points offensively? Can our defense stop these guys? So I think that's good for, them towards the end of the regular season to kind of show, hey, we can do this in a different way.
Yeah, so I think that's important. So let's go to the INS right now. We're going to get to Knox in a second, but first I want to talk a little bit about Bremen because believe it or not, Bremen's right behind Knox in the conference standings. They are 3-0 in conference, 5-2 so far this season. You talk about kind of like a dream season a little bit. Bremen, after starting out the year with 2 losses, it's kind of gone their way. 39-0 over Boone Grove. They beat LaVille by 1 point. They beat Jimtown by 7. Beat John Glenn by 1 point. Now they beat Culver Academies by 16 points. But they have Knox this week, so it's kind of going to come down to this.
I was about to say, that's going to be a really big challenge against an undefeated team in Knox. And they have one really big guy on Knox as well.
Yeah. And when we talked about point differential with some teams and okay, what do you expect? Well, Knox right now is 7-0, so obviously very, very good. They've given up 122 points. They've scored 344. So based off some quick math, what's that, plus 222? Yeah. Plus 222 point differential. We're 7 weeks into the season. Yeah. Miles McLaughlin, I think I'm saying the name right. Is so good. So good. One of the best running backs in Indiana history. I think he's on pace to break some records. It all comes down to this weekend, basically. This Friday night. If it's Bremen at Knox, if Bremen wants to kind of complete this dream season, and win the INS, they're going to have to beat Knox. And this is their chance this Friday night. But right now, Knox looks just like one of those teams that they're going to go on a run through 3A.
Yeah, they look unstoppable right now. And I think having a running back like that obviously helps, but just seems like all in all, this team is just on fire right now.
38, 38, 72, 36, 42, 62, 56. Those are the point totals so far this season.
Yeah.
They're just on another level.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So then other than that, we saw LaVille, they blew out Glenn 45-0. Then Tippy Valley, they beat Western 38-7 because of kind of like the newer form, just like the different type of format of the conference and, with a weird number of teams. Mm-hmm. We don't always get conference games every single week for every single team here in the INS. So that's why you're seeing some Bremen, Culver, Knox, but then Knox is playing Jimtown. Mm-hmm. So that's what you just kind of see right there. But like we said, this Friday night is the last week of conference games for everyone, and it's kind of where it all comes down. Or no, Bremen and Tippy Valley is the last Friday night. There's one more, but everyone's playing a conference game. It comes down to Bremen Knox.
Yep, and what a game to come down to, right?
Yeah.
Talk about Bremen, starting the season on, not the best note, but now they can have an opportunity. Not saying it's not, what's it called, possible. Like they could beat Knox. It's just, are they going to stop? Are they going to stop?
That's the thing.
That's the biggest thing.
Can you stop the running game?
Yes. If we had our keys to the game, that would be our key to the game. Stop the run game.
Stay in your gaps.
Yes.
Don't fall for just do your best in that.
Yeah.
All right, now wrapping up, just want to talk about Michigan a little bit. The school I talk about, of course, is Niles. Mm-hmm. They are still undefeated, 6-0. They beat Three Rivers 49-0. And my favorite stat from the weekend, so this is Scott Shaw's 250th win as a head coach. It's coming against Three Rivers. And why is that important? Well, he led Three Rivers to the state title back in 2003. So it's kind of like an incredible full circle moment there for Scott Shaw, one of the best guys in the, just best guys period, but definitely one of the best guys in the Michiana football scene. So very, very happy to see that for him. And right now, I mean, again, we feel like a broken record in Michigan. That's why we don't talk about it as much. I mean, Niles continues to put up points, and it all just is kind of going down to that game against Edwardsburg at the end of the season. Edwardsburg, right now, they still only have the one loss coming against Paw Paw, but they beat Plainwell 31-14. So I'm still really excited to see that Niles versus Edwardsburg game at the end. But this is a Niles team. I know they're in a tougher division now.
Yep.
But they're right there.
I was going to say, and again, broken record here too, but last year, having, the best program, season that they had in program history was great for them. But now it's again, extra motivation, I feel like, having not won it all last year. And so now it's okay, how can we finish it and, top what we did last year? And that's what Scott Shaw, obviously that's his motivation as well. But good for Scott Shaw.
Really good for him. And if the funny thing about Scott is he's very honest. He is honest maybe to a fault.
Yeah.
So last year, he straight up told us, looked at us and said, I think even after the loss in the state championship, we weren't supposed to be there.
Yeah.
We weren't supposed to, last year was not the year. This year is the year. Last year's team was supposed to, have a good run, but kind of maybe lose, a couple games in. This was the season where they were supposed to do what they did last year. So what that tells me is a year ahead, they have a lot of experience.
Yep.
And right now, even though they are in a tougher division, Division 3, they moved up to. Mm-hmm. According now, the rankings for MHSAA.com, they come out on Wednesdays, so this does not take into account Friday's game. But in the latest rankings, they're ranked 5th in Division 3 in the state.
Wow.
So they are legitimately in the running to win a state title in a tougher division. Just so cool to see that.
And what a way that would be to have, coming off one of the best, seasons in program history from last year and then winning a state title the year after. I mean, how cool would that be?
It's one of those things like something I like to do when I go to these different high schools, you probably do the same thing, is you kind of you ever look at all the different banners,
yes.
and it's you'll randomly see man, at this school, like from 1974 to 1977, they won 2 basketball state titles. They made it to a football semi-state, and they made a baseball state final. And it's like, you could tell that was kind of like the golden generation, like the big, like that was their stretch. And it's like every school like kind of has those. And it's funny, it's like crazy to see when you see like, I think St. Joseph in Michigan has one that goes back to like the early 1900s or something crazy. Yeah. It's like, so there's some really, really cool ones when you go around.
I agree.
And it's like, I always kind of think back like, man, that must have been like if you go to that school, like that's like your years you're kind of proud of. And it's like the really cool thing for Niles and Niles football is like, this is it. Like these are the years. Mm-hmm. Like this Niles football team, like, you know, has been around for a while, but this is the best seasons they've ever had. These are the seasons where 70 years from now, if there's like the camera guy in the gym still or whatever, he's going to see 2025, 2024 and be like, man, like those must have been the crazy years for the football program. Like that is what the team is this year.
Yeah, and then how cool would it be? I mean, any coach deserves this, but especially Scott Shaw to be a coach to lead a team, you know, to a state title and win the state title. So
exactly. Yeah. So I'm really, you know, I'm not supposed to root for anybody, but I'm really kind of hoping when it gets to the postseason, if they're not playing against one of our local teams, you know.
There we go. We got,
there's a little bias in there. Sorry about that, guys. Just the last one I want to mention is Berrien Springs there in Division 5. They beat Dowagiac 21-0 right now. Again, these are the rankings that don't include this past Friday night, but they are ranked 10th in Division 5. After that win, I could see them moving up a little bit. They're 4-1 on the season, so just kind of keep them, monitor them. They're going to be playing Benton Harbor and Brandywine 2 games. They should definitely win. Then they're going to play against, then it says Hudson and Hartford that last week. I think Mass Preps messed that up. We'll have to see which game it actually is.
Okay.
But they're a team that, like, you know, could definitely have a great record to when the season's all said and done.
Awesome. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what chaos can unravel these next few weeks.
Exactly. Well, Sabrina, anything else?
Got nothing else, really.
I think I'm all wrapped up too, yeah.
Yeah, more football coming up on Friday night. And
do not call us this weekend.
Yes.
The Notre Dame football game is on Peacock.
We are so sorry. It is not our decision.
We are so sorry. No one asks us. No one asks anyone in the station here.
Nope.
If we had it our way, I think the game should still be on our station because we're in South Bend, but what are you going to do? But anyways, it's not on our station. We have information on our website on how to sign up for Peacock, so just a heads up for everyone there if you're wondering where the Notre Dame football game is. Please don't call. Please just go to the website. Yes. You'll figure out how to sign up for Peacock.
Yep. We will have highlights.
We will have highlights
later on. Yeah.
We'll have highlights in our 11 p.m. news. So if you don't want to get the Peacock subscription, and you want just a recap, we'll have that. We'll also have 16 News Now Game Day, which will still air at 9:30 a.m. on WNDU. Just the game is on Peacock.
Yep. Sorry,
all right.
Guys.
So, it's annoying for us too. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time for 16 Sports Extra.